My God, this woman of God is amazing, very talented, and I want to welcome her to the Keisha Parrish Show.
We're a family. I'll make sure you're always safe with me. I love every single face I see. Smile more and it will set you free. This is the Keisha Parrish Show. 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 Keisha Parrish Show. It's the Keisha Parrish Show.
Hey. I hope we're gonna be able to act.
I
like
know,
together.
right?
Hey.
Oh my God. So I just said a whole bunch of stuff about you, but I
Mm.
want you to
Mm.
introduce yourself to the
Thank
people
you.
because
Thank
only
you.
you know you.
I like.
Yes,
That's
yes.
right.
So talk to us. Who are you,
Ah.
Minister Jason? I loved the name.
Uh-huh.
Is someone prophesied to you?
Uh-huh.
Pastor Clarissa
She did.
Blissett said that your name is a household name,
Wow.
and it is so true. It's just so
Mhm.
elegant,
Thank you.
eloquent,
That's what it is.
and
Thank
elegant.
you. Thank you.
Jason
Yeah.
Spurgeon. Talk to
Uh-huh.
us about who you are, my queen.
Thank you for having me.
You are so welcome.
God bless you.
Yes.
I thank God for Kingdom Connections.
Amen.
If it had not been for my best girlfriend,
Yes.
Tara Hillstock, she knew when she contacted me.
Yes.
She said, I met this sister, and when I met her,
Mhm.
I knew that I wanted you guys to connect.
Yes.
And I want to give homage to her
Yes.
for counting it not robbery to put us together.
That's right.
You know, some sisters wouldn't have did that.
That's true.
Yeah, but
That's
she
so
that
true.
sister that did that, and I
Yes.
appreciate her.
That's right.
And I am the daughter of Thomas Eugene Spurgeon
Okay.
and the late Linda Jean Blassingame Spurgeon
Woo.
Jefferson.
Woo.
My mother's maiden name was Blassingame. She
Mhm.
married my dad Spurgeon,
Mhm.
and she later remarried a
Okay.
Jefferson.
Okay.
And it starts there for me.
Amen.
I had the most, they're prolific to me.
Mhm.
Both of my parents were highly educated, and they were very loving and caring. They took really great care of me.
Wow.
And the main thing that they gave me was permission to be.
Mm.
You know, they always just let me be.
Whoever you
In
want.
particular, my mother.
Mhm.
My mother just let me be.
Yes.
And so that's how it is that I have been able to embark, you know, on different things in my life because I never had a cap put on me.
That's
Amen.
good. I love that.
She never put a cap
I
on
love
me.
that. I love
Yeah.
that. Yes.
And so here I am.
Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Now you said earlier that you are motivation queen. Is that what you said?
I'm
Go on.
Jason A. Spurgeon, the empowerment
The
queen.
empowerment queen.
The.
Good afternoon. And this is your host, Tracy Howe Crummy with Beauty for Ashes with Tracy. And we are a self care, mental health awareness, and wellness podcast that encourages, inspires, as well as enlighten listeners on how to create wellness, overcome negative thinking, and develop strategies for a healthier mindset. How is everyone doing this afternoon? I'm hoping everyone is well. I have a special guest today that's with me. We have licensed professional counselor Kendra Williams, and we're definitely excited to have her. And she's here on mental health chats. So this is gonna be wonderful, wonderful. Kendra, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you, Tracy?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. You got to just jump right in and tell us all about yourself. When I started putting this together, and you and I met on this wild coincidence, we both were featured in the top 33 inspirational women that's globally and internationally, as well as all over this world. So, we're very, very blessed women. So, in that, I was just like super excited to know you in that way. And then we started to talk. Then I find out so much more about you. So tell us about your field. Tell us about what you do. Tell us about your causes. I mean, you have so much going on. Tell us about everything. We'll start off wanting to know about what Kendra Williams wants to share with us today on this mental health chat.
Okay. Well, I'm Kendra Williams. I'm from Columbus, Georgia, and I'm a licensed professional counselor. I've been counseling children and at-risk youth for about 6 years now. So I work in the community and with families as well. So I would say that that's something that I'm excited about. I've been doing it, for a little bit, but it's very rewarding. So yes, I'm very excited about that. And to just talk about mental health is something that's very prevalent right now in the world and in our community. So I'm just excited to just, get it out there and just so it won't be a stigma around it. Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
And that's really what this podcast is about, also ending the stigma of associated with mental health and mental illness. So you've been in the field for 6 years as a licensed professional counselor. So tell us a little bit about, you said at-risk youth.
Mhm.
What is going on right now with our youth that you will want to make sure you're sharing with our listeners and the audience today? What is happening? Because it's such a shift. It's such a shift where you got um, with the everything now is becoming a part of the mental aspect. But tell us like what you're seeing and what you think. Give us some information. What do you think is going on?
Well, I would definitely say there's trends right now for youth and especially social media. I see a lot of bullying, cyberbullying going on with the youth. Especially, it seems like there's a difference between the guys and the girls. Girls going through puberty and liking boys and just trying to understand themselves better, so they're trying to fit in and find their way in society and with their classmates. So I would say that with the pressure, peer pressure, body image, um, just overall, when you think about when you used to grow up, some things that you've experienced, but now it's with the social media age, it's just so different. There's like everything is at their grasp. So they want everything, so quickly. So just seeing that now is just so totally different than
Yeah.
when I grew up.
When I grew up too, I mean, it's so much like I'm just not understanding because we didn't have all these luxuries. We didn't have phones. I was out when I grew up, the cell phone, we didn't even have a computer, let alone, a cell phone. So you have so many of these kids having all these things at their disposal without even the parental I guess locks or whatever parents are should be doing with their kids, or monitoring what they're doing. Um, it's just really hard right now to understand because a 6-year-old came to school with a gun and shot a teacher. Like, what you think that's all about?
Yes, I definitely agree. And I would say, especially with that, especially, when you think about boys in general, how they, it's like they grow up with the video games and how you see that with the violence and the movies and Fortnite. I know that's something that's popular. And so it's like they're wanting to reenact the things that they're seeing
Mm.
and,
Mm.
videos. So it's just like, how can I express myself without and communicating without it going to a violent place? So I think having and creating safe spaces so they can find their voice and not have to communicate in ways that are violent is something that we definitely need to talk about with our families and with our teachers.
I think so. Bringing this stuff to the forefront and in schools, I'm a mental health first aid trained in youth and adult, as well as psychological first aid. So it's really, really getting to be such a thin line in the way that we're conducting, or the shift in the parenting, or we just don't know where the responsibility lies for what, because with yourself helping with the mental health piece to help the kids go work through this, but again, you got the responsibility of the parents, and then the parents thinking at times it's responsibility of the schools. So we're really thankful that you all are being able to give the support and provide the services. Tell me about this situation where you all are almost obsolete in numbers. Like they're needing more clinicians and counselors or psychiatrists, or this field. Tell me about what you think the problem is. In is it the education? Is it the schooling? What do you think?
I would say that it's just, as far as the having more people in our field, it's something that I would say is more new. And I think
Mm,
especially with the pandemic, I
mhm,
think that people really realize, how important that counselors are,
mhm.
for your mental health, because they had that time for themselves to really think about, things that were going on in their lives that maybe they didn't think about because they were working and had, other things going on. So I think it really brought it to the forefront, and
Mhm.
especially in our school system, how important it
Yes.
is to have that.
Yes, yes. That's interesting because I know that there were some laws and bills, because I also advocate as well as yourself. And
Mhm.
I know that they were saying just the field itself, we needed to make some provisions for more people to get the certifications, I guess, in your field that they needed to make sure they can add that onto their insurances or things like that of that nature. So it's a lot of things we have to think about. So now we're going to talk more about that, but tell us about you being a life coach. You're also being the CEO of Worthy of Grace. So you got to tell us all about it. I mean, I love the fact that you're young. Even if you're not young, you sure look good. So you're young, you're vibrant, you're giving us everything we need for us to be inspired by in these days and time. And this being about mental health awareness and also self care and wellness. How are you taking care of yourself too? And we're going to go table back to Worthy of Grace. How are you managing? Because it's so much going on. Like, who takes care of Kendra?
Ooh, well, I would definitely say, yeah, take a sigh of relief. Yeah, I
Mhm.
would definitely say that sometimes you have to force yourself to take time.
Mm.
Definitely. But it's good that I have a great support system of my family and friends, and my church family and God. So that has definitely kept me in
That's
my.
all we got. That's a sustaining point for everyone, Kendra, because without him, we can't do anything. And we have to know that that's where all the help, the strength, when we can't get through, we can't move forward, and we can't, carry the loads, because there's so much stuff that burdens us too. Okay. Well, now back to Worthy of Grace. Tell me how that came about, how you were inspired to think about, I need to do a LLC. And Worthy of Grace is such a beautiful, beautiful name for your business. Tell us how that all came about too, because you're being a licensed counselor, and then you're coaching. We can also talk about, because you are a coach as well. So tell us all about those things.
Okay, thank you so much. Yes, so
Mhm.
Worthy of Grace, that was inspired by the name, what I went through and how God showed me grace. So I would
Mm,
say about 3.5 years ago, I was dating a guy, and the relationship, it left me in a place where I was very confused and hurt. So, with developing my relationship with God, I would say that definitely brought me through because, when I got closer to Him, He let me know who I was and how I was worthy despite feeling rejected by in this relationship. So just, getting back to the person that I was and to be an even better person. And God, He just showed me, part of my purpose is helping women that have been through the same thing that I have, and just to let them know, you can overcome feeling that you're not maybe worthy at the place that you were. And so just knowing that their worth comes from God. And He just said, I just want you to help women just to let them know and rediscover their confidence and let them know that they do have a purpose. And I want them to have freedom as well in that area of relationships.
You know, listen, who's ever watching this, Worthy of Grace, Kendra Williams, because there is a lot of struggles. And just in your singleness and God keeping you, and you're able to bless and be a blessing to other women. Tell us about, is this something that you do virtually? Are you in schools? Tell us about how, if someone wanted to contact you or wanted to get involved with Worthy of Grace, tell us what they could do.
Okay, yes, I definitely do virtual. So I have consultations where I talk with women just about, things that they've experienced in relationships, and just to let them know that, there is greater on the other side, and there is hope. And I would just offer them. I have a 90-day course to help them on their journey to wholeness. And with this course, I also have another course where I help them with their career. Maybe they're going something's going on in their career where they may be in a transition or just wanting to start their own business and finding their purpose. So that is all incorporated with what I do with Worthy of Grace. So if they want to contact me, they can find me on LinkedIn as well as Facebook at Kendra W3 and Instagram at KNWorthy_88.
All right, I'm going to get this up for them. And you said Kendra W3.
On Facebook.
W3. And this is on Facebook. And you can find her on LinkedIn, everybody. LinkedIn. And what are you on for? Is LinkedIn just your name?
Yes, just Kendra Williams.
Okay. I'm gonna put this on a banner for you. Kendra Williams is on LinkedIn as well. So any ladies looking right now can go right on. And I'm going to put this on the ticker so it also goes through too. I'm just so excited. It's so much that we have to experience. So is that Kendra W3? Can you see that too? It's not on okay. Kendra W3, and on LinkedIn is Kendra Williams. Okay. So we're so excited about everything that you're doing. And we have so much going on right now. Tell us about what do you see, or where do you see yourself now that you've accomplished some of these things and you're now a licensed professional counselor, and you are you thinking about probably do you want your personal practice, or do you want to be doing things independently? Tell us about all of that, because how does that become relevant on your career path?
Okay. Yes, I would definitely like to have my own practice. And right now, I would say that I'm just incorporating all elements of my business. So entrepreneurship, life coaching, therapy, just all incorporated as well. I'm going to be reaching out to business ministry leaders, entrepreneurs, and other therapists and consultants for my network coming out, the Modern Women's Network. So I'm excited about that and wanted to hear their inspiring stories as well to a global audience. Yes.
I want you to tell us more about that because I have so much information. You got to tell us all about where you're going to be coming soon because you'll be coming soon to some networks, the Modern Woman Network. Tell us about like where they'll be able to find you on there as well.
Okay, so when it's ready, I will be on. So my vision is vision, purpose, and freedom. So that is my motto for the Modern Women's Network. So you can find me on Google TV, Android TV, Roku TV, and it should be to an audience on average of 4.25 million. So yes, I'm definitely excited to connect with the viewers and with other entrepreneurs. Yes, very excited.
Yes, you are doing some amazing things. And we're going to continue to talk more because we're going to go back to our mental health and back to some things that are happening, some of these trends, like what's going on in these restaurants, what's going on in these drive-throughs, what's going on in your perspective of how the minds are being captive. You and I both know being spiritual that it is warfare and it's not against flesh and blood, but principality and power. So we understand that. Not everybody may understand that. So tell us what is what. Just share anything you can because we want to make it make sense. We would say, make it make sense, Jesus. We want to make it make sense because I'm in awe of some of the things that are going on. So let's with the mental health piece. Tell me what you're facing.
Mhm. Yeah, definitely. You just hear so many things on the news with people in really strange situations. Like you said, the restaurants, people, I think it said even shooting family members over pork chops.
Pork
So,
chops.
yes, pork chops. So
I'm glad I don't even eat pork. Okay, so that's a whole nother story. Pork chops.
Yes, pork chops. Yes. So we know it's something definitely more going on.
It is
in people's lives. Yes.
Okay, so what, say for instance, someone came to you with this pork chop scenario, maybe it was in their family. They come to you, they're a youth and they're not necessarily at risk. Where are you starting at with that?
I would say I would wonder what took them to that place where that was their last straw.
Yes.
Yes. So I know it's something definitely going on deeper, and trying to figure out, okay, what was the trigger to get to that point? Definitely looking at their family history. I would say that for sure. And just finding out about their background, maybe some things that they've experienced in the past, their communication style, yes, trauma, and just definitely developing some coping skills. So when they get angry, they would, find a better solution. To get to that point. So hopefully that's why I'm so passionate about definitely, not having the stigma. So people, they feel like they can have somebody to talk to. So when they feel like, okay, I don't want to get to this place, but I definitely need a positive outlet. Yes.
Well, I guess we both are fighting for this same thing, ending the stigma. I mean, do you think it's going to end? I mean, we're doing our best and we're just two people in this world trying to end the stigma associated with mental health so everyone can be very, very transparent and comfortable talking about issues. When will it end? I mean, what else could you suggest that we could do, as a community, as a culture, because we know there are different cultural norms on what's acceptable and what's not. Tell us a little bit about, we say end the stigma. How hard is that becoming?
I would say it has gotten somewhat better.
Okay.
The fact that, you know, we have these safe spaces that we can talk about it without, because I know sometimes it can be spirit, like you said, it's spiritualized, but it's to the point where it's like, okay, it is okay to talk about it. I think definitely it does start, I would say, at home.
Mhm.
Having parents and families being able to have an open conversation. I think it definitely starts at home. So I would say with that, that definitely can create a better environment to have those conversations where the parents, they are involved with the children, like we talked about earlier, with at school. You know, the behaviors are turning up at school, and that's a trend that I noticed. And that the parents, they may not take it seriously, but when they get to grade school, and then the teachers, they're saying, okay, well, this is continuing, and then it's like they have an aha moment where it's like, okay, I guess there is something going on at home where I need to change, and we need to create a behavioral plan so my child is having success, not just at school, but in life. Because when we experience these things, this can lead to us having trouble in adulthood, the way that we communicate with others, you know, losing jobs. I mean, some people, they may not take it that seriously, but it does have a ripple effect.
Yes, yes. So definitely the hardships in families definitely bring about the stressors, and it brings about the anxiety. I do agree with that. I do agree with that 100%. So what are we doing in that way of trying to help in regards to the listening piece? Because I think we want people to hear, but why is it so hard for the listening? I mean, are we really listening to one another, you think? Is that most of the issue, the listening part? Because hearing and listening is different. You know that.
Right. Yeah, I definitely agree. I think a lot of times we listen to respond,
Hmm.
but not to be understood. So I would say that.
Yeah.
I think definitely too, the communication is definitely different. Especially I would say with families, because you know, with parents, it's like, okay, do what I say, but not as I do. And then the children, they can be confused because they're like, okay, well, I see you doing this, so why is it not okay for me to do this? And so that brings about confusion as well. So I would say that definitely starting with that. And I would say as well, we're not, as a society, I think we're just not talking more. It's more of just about texting or passive aggressiveness. So people, they're not really expressing their feelings, and then they're
Yeah.
holding it in.
Yes. I had a friend of mine's girlfriend. Her son had taken his life a few months ago by sextortion. Are you familiar with that?
Yes.
I, you put these two words together and you're knowing something is happening, but that's in a lot of the young culture, that the coping for that. And also to add to, my son, I think I shared that with you in the beginning, had died by suicide. So that's what led me to delve right into trying to understand um, depression or anxiety or issues that may have with young people not being able to cope. So we're not really sure where how that shifted, because you and I, like we said, from where we come from, we didn't have people trying to say let's get this help, or let's go to counseling. Well, I didn't. I can speak for myself, so maybe you can expound on that.
Yes, definitely. I would say that it's just I think sometimes that people, when they're going through situations, they don't know how to tell what they're going through and how to express, I feel this pain. I'm not sure about, what's going on. Um, I don't want to be a burden. And I know a lot of times that is also something that people go through, not feeling like, okay, I don't want to, my family's already going through this. I don't want to add on to this. So they feel like they're protecting the family members. But the
Uh,
family members, they really want to help, but if they don't know, they can't. Yeah.
that's something that now you've really said something that I think I can resonate with. And I know our kids have a lot of different characteristics and personalities. So I definitely I received that because that could be something that um even my son could have been going through, maybe feeling burdened, although he got his own life. And when you're thinking about how your mate, like, if you weren't around, thing may be easier for someone, but it's not the case. So you just never know, because we will never know. um Tell me about the times when you feel most vulnerable, when you're in either capacity, in your counseling role or with the women of grace, talking with them, because I know there has to be some points in your moments you're like that breath I just let out, you just like, you know
Yes. Yes, definitely. I would say, especially early on, when I was, even when I was doing counseling, with, it was with a teen. And so it's like, I know with counseling they say don't try to, um they call it transference. So it's like having your own issues, bringing it onto them. So, even though I was counseling him and he was talking about, things he was going on in his relationship, I'm like, mm-hmm. But I'm like,
You're
but
like,
in
yeah,
my
I
mind,
want me too. Let's
mhm,
talk about it. He start
right.
counseling you or something.
Exactly. So in my mind, I'm like, but then I'm like, okay, I gotta keep a straight face, because I think that's the time where we're still doing telehealth counseling. So it's like, sometimes you have to, just say, okay, I have to put that aside. I have to deal with him.
Amen. Amen.
Yes.
Well, this has been such an amazing experience. I want you to come on again and again and again. And then when you get on your network, I'm gonna come on and talk with you. We're gonna conclude this. I hate to go, but we were just gonna do, I said 30 minutes, because we could go on and on and on and on talking about it. But
Yes.
you'll come back. You'll come back then with more information, because things are happening so fast. You'll have to keep me updated on what's going on, because every day we'll have something new to talk about.
Yes.
Because it's just, if it's not one thing, it's another. And with the young people, with the schools and the shootings in school, and I know we'll touch that real quick before we go. With that happening, do you get a lot of parents coming in with their children wanting to make sure you help them through those incidents? Because going back to school is hard. If they've been at school, they're scared to go back to school, the fear of it all. Tell me a little bit about that, and then we'll close.
Okay. So yes, definitely. The kids that I've talked to, they haven't really expressed, those feelings about, being scared at school, especially for the most recent incident. But with the other incidents, they're like, yes, I'm afraid, going to school. This is something else, I have to go through. I know they also talked about sometimes having to, have, like lockdown practices. So
Oh,
that makes it more real, in that sense. So yeah, definitely. hopefully this is something that is not a trend that's gonna keep on upticking. Hopefully, we can do something about it. And we definitely, need associations, and we need more advocacy for mental health funding, because this is something that definitely, it needs to change. So I'm definitely, want to continue to talk about this, and to continue to just spread awareness, because it's definitely important.
Well, we'll definitely be working together to do that. So we have some things we need to discuss, because I envision us, God already had put this together and we didn't even know each other. And it's funny how it all, like I said, how it all came about, from us both being featured in the Hoyser uh, book of top 33 inspirational women, and then realizing on LinkedIn you liked that I was in the book, and then you're on the same publication and issue that I'm on. How ironic! And then to know you were a counselor, how double ironic. I was like, oh God, couldn't have put this together better. But I'm so thankful you came on and you had shared some time out of your afternoon to come on and talk to me today and share and spread the news about what you're experiencing. Once again, we've had on Mental Health Chats, Beauty for Ashes with Tracy, licensed professional counselor and CEO of Worthy of Grace, Kendra Williams. And right now, once again, you can find her on these platforms: Kendra W3 on Facebook and LinkedIn, her first and last name, Kendra Williams. And also, I've been displaying, if you need help, get help. We have the access lines featured, Georgia Crisis and Access Line, as well as 9888. And that is the lifeline for any mental health issues that you may be suffering. Is there anything else you want to say before we close out this segment, this episode 9, this with Kendra Williams, Mental Health Chat? I'm excited.
Yes, just thank you so much. This has been great. Great getting to talk to you. And I'm just excited to connect with the audience and hear you guys' thoughts about mental health and how we can create, a better world. So I'm excited to hear from you all. Thank you.
Amen. Amen. Okay, well, thank you once again. And we'll sign off by letting you know this is Beauty for Ashes with Tracy. And we're so thankful you shared your afternoon with us. Take care, be blessed, and we will see you next Saturday.
Hello, everybody. I am Dr. Tina J. Ramsey, the host of the Melanated Homeschooling Families podcast. And today we have an amazing featured guest for you today. Aisha Bowe. She is an extraordinary individual. She is a former NASA rocket scientist. She also is a global motivational speaker, and she is the visionary of Lingo. It's a revolutionary way, a movement of helping our young people grow and thrive. And her story of her why is so remarkable that I had to bring her on today. And I'm so happy that she's able to be with us so you can learn more about how what she's doing can help your children maximize their full potential. So without further ado, let's bring on Aisha Bowe. Hello, welcome to the show.
Hi.
Listen, I am so, first of all, thank you so much for giving us some of your time because I know that you're super busy. And I'm excited because I know about your story and it inspired me. And I'm just like, wow, this is amazing on what you've been able to accomplish. So we're just going to go ahead and get right into the meat and potatoes of everything. Everyone knows, or I'm telling them, that you are a former NASA rocket scientist. And we used to hear that saying a lot. But to finally see someone that looks like you, a woman, an African American woman of color that went in space. And now you decided that you was going to start this business of lingo, which we're going to talk a little bit more about a little bit later. But my question to you first is, was this your path in the beginning when you grew up? When you was a little girl, did Aisha say, I want to be a rocket scientist when I grow up?
No, not at all. My objective growing up was to not have to live with my parents forever. Like, that was my goal. And because I didn't have any goals, and because when I was born, my parents had their own situation going on, I wasn't thinking about college. I wasn't thinking about science or technology. I wasn't thinking about going to class. I was truant. All I was trying to do was survive day to day. I ended up feeling insecure because I didn't have a lot of the things that people around me had. And as a result, I graduated from high school, which I was lucky to do, with a 2.313. I don't know why we need the 313, but it was a 2.313.
Wow. Wait a minute. Did you just say that you graduated from high school with a 2.1, a 2.313,
2.313.
a 2.313?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Last I thought that a 2.313 was not a B plus nor an A plus.
That's why I try to figure it out. It's not.
Yeah, and so you became a rocket scientist working for NASA. How did that work? I mean, how did you go from a 2.313 average to now being one of the first women to go into space, now working for NASA, rocket scientist? How did that come about?
So what happened was, because my grades were not strong in high school, I had this narrative in my mind that I couldn't and I shouldn't and I can't. And even worse, the people around me were judging me by the grades on the paper. No one was really like, wow, you have a lot of potential. Now, from time to time, I would have conversations with my father, who was like, you should really apply yourself and you should try more. But my high school guidance counselor, she told me that I should study cosmetology. And I was kind of like, there's nothing wrong with that, right? It was this idea that that was all that she thought that I could ever be. I went to community college because I figured I would get a certification and learn a trade and just be able to take care of myself. And it was there that I met students from all walks of life. I met people who had children early. I met people who were going back because they were trying to support their family and they wanted to get, further education. And I met other students who were like me, who just did not know who they were, and more importantly, what they wanted to do. And through this exploration, I decided that I was going to create a world where I would drown out other people's thoughts of me and their expectations of me and only focus on the things that I thought were important. And the thing that was the most important to me was to feel good about myself when I looked in the mirror every day. I wanted to wake up and not feel stressed and disappointed. I wanted to be proud to live in my body. And I thought, okay, well, what if I had goals? What if I had dreams? What if I tried? Like, what would I do? And so I wrote a list, and that list was, I'm going to apply myself, and I'm not going to get in my own way per se, right? If I do something and it's not an A, I'm not going to put myself down about it. I'm just going to keep going. And if I'm going to operate like that, I'm going to try to do the most outrageous thing that I could think to do. Because what people don't understand is me becoming an aerospace engineer, that is an answered prayer. I said to God, if I can become an aerospace engineer, then I will know that you are real and this is real and dreams are real. And I know that, the people out there that are probably like, don't tell God to give you certain things, but you don't have what you don't ask for, right? And I wanted that sign. Now I had to work for it, and I worked for it. But I went from pre-algebra to demonstrating that I could get an A in calculus to graduating from one of the best aerospace schools in the country and getting my master's in space systems engineering. And that was solely off of the faith that I had in myself and not so much what other people thought I could or should be.
Wow. So the fact that you finally made the decision that you was going to do better, you wasn't going to allow what other people thought that you should be, what you should become, or the lack thereof. You, from this moment on, you were going to pretty much walk to the beat of your own drum and create your purpose, your future. And through that, you went to community college, which
Yeah.
some people feel like if you go to community college, it's not as good as going to a university. That can be debatable, but your life changed once you went to community college. And you said something about pre-algebra. So was it a teacher or something, or a student that kind of made your mind shift a little bit? Because you said you wrote this list. So I'm curious on what this list said. What was it in this list that made you do all this stuff? And
Yeah.
we should be creating a list for our children, or our children
I,
creating for themselves.
listen, I highly advocate for lists. I think what gets measured gets improved. And the reason for the list was I was challenged in the community college environment to determine where I wanted to go. Where are you graduating? Are you transitioning? What are you doing, right? And you have counselors and they're trying to guide you on a path. And so I tried to get clarity around that.
Mhm.
But in this class environment, they weren't judging me based off of the things that I did in high school. They weren't judging me based off of the things that the people around me felt that I should do or try to do. I was just a person, and I was a person trying to learn a thing. And what I learned from that moment was that I could be taught and I could learn. And if I did not learn in a class environment, it wasn't because I wasn't smart. It was because I didn't find the person who could teach it to me in a way that I could learn. So I learned how to advocate for my learning style, and I learned how to go out and put the effort into study habits and the discipline. I mean, the discipline with that I have to this day.
And I heard some key things that you said. And in the homeschooling community, we are very we always advocate about finding your child's learning style. When you find your child's learning style, you can unlock your child's full potential. Many times a child is not I would say doing all the things that we would like for them to do academically is because we're presenting the information to them in a way in which they do not learn. And so when I heard you say learning style, learning the way, I said, ooh, okay. So you was able to find out your learning style, and then you had a teacher that would be able to help you with that. And I heard you say how at community college they did not judge you on your past. It was
Right.
like a clean slate. And
Yeah.
so for many homeschooling parents that are home right now with their children, and they may have that one child, that one student that they're smart, they have something inside of them, but you just don't see it within those first 1 to 12 years. You are the prime example of delayed but not denied.
Yes. We have a joke in the business community, and it's that the C students are founding and running the companies the A students work for.
Ooh.
And I don't want to take anything away from A students, but I would really love it if we had a different way. And this is one of the reasons why I wanted to talk to this community, because I feel like homeschool is further ahead in doing this. People are more than grades, right? There may be situations that get in the way of people achieving. And until you can really take that 360 look at the person, we shouldn't be telling them what they can or they cannot do. Everything that someone told me I could not do, I do. I went and I worked at NASA, and that was great. I had a great career, but I left NASA to found my own company. My mother was not a fan. Love her. We have a great relationship. She is employee of the month every month at the second company I founded. But she could not see what was inside of me. She loves me dearly, but she had no idea that I was going to figure out how to create a business that would be listed on Inc. 5000 as one of the fastest growing companies in America twice. I did that off of $1 and a dream while couch surfing in California. She was not a fan, but all of that grew into something. And so I really want for people to relax and say, I know that I have faith in this individual. I know that this individual has potential. I may not know how that individual's potential and purpose come together, but I have faith that it will.
That is powerful. And so right now, Aisha, we're going to take a small commercial break. And once we take the commercial break, we're going to come back and we're going to talk more about your journey to entrepreneurship, because now we heard the journey about your education, how the light bulb went off. And to make mention, before we go to this commercial break, you eventually did go to a university from community college. And so all the things that society wanted to think that if you don't reach a certain milestone at a certain age during a certain time, then okay, you're a lost cause. That theory, that line of thinking is totally wrong.
I got 2 degrees from one of the best aerospace schools in the world, and I have the pleasure of sitting on the industry advisory board for the aerospace department. So all that stuff, and I support the community college, and I have an endowment there. I don't think that knowledge holds true anymore.
No, you proved that wrong. Clearly. Okay, so we're going to take a small commercial break and we'll be back in a moment. The Homeschooling Interactive Magazine is a magazine that embraces and celebrates the entire homeschooling experience. Our magazine is different from all the rest because we provide beneficial information and assistance in homeschooling, business, wellness, mental health, resources, and life. We encourage you to pick up a copy of our magazine today on Amazon.com by simply searching the Homeschooling Interactive Magazine. The Homeschooling Interactive Magazine is all about impacting the world through home-based learning, helping to de-stress the homeschooling experience. Get your copy from Amazon today. And just like that, we're back. I told you it was going to be a small commercial break. And who do I have with me today? The amazing Aisha Bowe. And we were talking about just before the commercial break about her journey and how she went from not making the best of grades in high school to going on a path of self-discovery that led her to go to community college, which had her make this list. This list became her pretty much her mantra. She started checking off all this stuff. And then she eventually was able to go on to university. And basically, she is history. She is part of our Black history, okay? You're looking many times as homeschoolers, we're searching for our Black history. We're searching for our African-American roots. What did we do? What did we contribute to? Well, today you're speaking and seeing and hearing and not reading, being able to connect with one of our pivotal people in history, because literally that's what she did. She making history again and again and again. So she already did it in education. But did Aisha stop there? No, Aisha didn't stop there. Aisha decided that I'm going to take it a step further. I'm going to go over here in this entrepreneurship industry, and I'm getting ready to disrupt what's going on and be able to unlock potential for children like myself, or for future generations to come. This is not just a company. This is a movement. And now we're going to tell you a little bit about this movement. So Asia, tell us about why did you decide to do this form of entrepreneurship and focusing on, with lingo, STEM?
For me, it was about advocacy and it was about equity. When I was in the government, I loved my job, but I was limited in how much I could do to support a particular community. So one of the things that was my responsibility was every month or so, we would get notifications from teachers and we could go and talk to a classroom. And I was always so excited to do that. I would go into the classrooms, I would talk to the kids. And I could never get to what I actually did at work because they would see me and say, there's no way. There's no way you could exist. I literally was carrying my degrees in the trunk of my car because the kids could not connect that there was a young African American female working at NASA, working on small spacecrafts and rockets. They couldn't do it.
Mhm.
Understand, they don't get to see a lot of us.
Mhm.
Now, where I got frustrated in my job was I wanted to be able to mentor more students. I wanted to be able to take more students as interns. I wanted to be able to take what I created and project that to the world so that the world could be inspired by the things that overcome. But that was beyond the scope of my position. That was not in my job description. And so I found myself at odds with my job. And I really had to think on it and I had to pray on it. And I said, you know what? I am bigger than this job. So I need to step out on faith and I need to figure out how I can combine the desire to inspire, to educate, and to empower with the technical education that I received. And so I started a government contracting firm 10 years ago. And our mission was to take a portion of every hour that was worked and create education outreach programs and support our nonprofits so that we could create more people who were like me, people who have maybe thought that they weren't interested in STEM or science or being in technology, but had never really had the opportunity to experience it and know what it was like. And that is the foundation of STEM Board, which is the first company that I run. We have been an award-winning company for several years now, and I'm super proud to be at the helm of that.
Wow. And so, with that being your first company 10 years ago, a decade ago, what led you to take it a step further to do what you're doing now with Lingo? Because what you're offering is so ingenious because it bringing real life application that they can do. Because some of your kids, I looked at them and I was like, wait a minute, that sounds like something dealing with a car, all these different things that they're familiar with, but you're making it easy. And one thing that I find that's very unique is that you have a lot of instructors that look like us. So why
Yeah.
was that so crucial and important to you? And why did you decide to do it just in that fashion?
Yeah, so people will say, okay, Jeff, I think you're in technology, but I really am in societal advancement. And what I mean is by being a business owner, and we're not necessarily a small business, we're almost 50 full-time people. I pay people in 6 different states. What I've realized is that my vote, the revenue, that moves the needle. I can write checks to support political campaigns. I can put people through college. I can make sure that my families are paid more than a living wage to support their students' academic careers, training, all these sorts of things. And when I really started to think about that, and I looked at some companies like Johnson Publishing, right? They put a lot of money in the community. They built people up so that everyone could have a share of the pie, so that everyone could live a better life. And for me, the big piece that was missing was, okay, I have this technical workforce. How do I create more people that have the ability to get access to jobs like this? I have people working for me and they're making well over $100,000 a year and they don't have college degrees. And I'm proud of that because they have IT certifications and I can't help what happened earlier in life, but I can make sure that they have good jobs. And so there are a lot of pathways for people to be able to support themselves and support their families through IT certifications, and also for people to go into aerospace and get PhDs. But what I didn't see was the representation. And so I decided to fill that gap. I'm like, who better than me, right? If not me, then who? And I wanted to create educational content that could inspire you to go to college, that could inspire you to study STEM, that could inspire you to be an entrepreneur, run your own business, do whatever you want to do, but give you the power and show you that there were people who were like you or people with diverse backgrounds who were doing the exact same thing. And they were making it fun.
That is remarkable on how you not only you making history, but one of the main issues in, we just gonna speak of the United States, is employment. So the
Yep.
fact that you breaking barriers in more than one way and also providing more than just a living wage, because we know how inflation is right now, you're constantly giving back and providing another way for us to be successful. And being that you are a visionary and you know from your own life story that your full potential is not maxed out by 12th grade, that you are providing jobs for ones who qualify that has an IT certification. But if they desire to go to college, then that is availed to them. So,
And I want to double tap on this because for me, I often think that I liked my experience at Michigan, but I'll be the first to say that I came away from that experience feeling damaged in some aspects because there were not very many women of color in that environment. The ones who were there were friends to this day. It's one other person. And when I walked out of it, I said, how different would work be if people like you and I could actually shape it, if we owned it? I don't have a diversity problem. I don't have an equity problem. I don't have any of those issues because I care and I hire in that way. So I just wanted to allow people to be in the driver's seat of their careers and in the environments that they choose to work in. I also wanted to communicate that, and this is what I love about homeschool, is that 8th grade, when I experienced it, had been taught that way for like 20 years. We had books that still had things in them that were no longer true, right? I remember being in middle school and they had books that still had the Soviet Union in there. I was like, what in the world, right? I mean, there's so much stuff that happens in those environments that is outside of a parent's control. But lingo for me was like, hey, I can create this kit. And if I give you this kit, you can choose how you engage with it. You can do multiple lessons. You can see technology in a new way because we're going to shoot trailers and we're going to make it fun and we're going to tie to careers and we're going to give you an experience that may not be an experience that people have traditionally been given in that age group. And that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to deliver something where people could go, okay, that's different and I like it.
Well, you're definitely doing that because for the fact of the matter is it's not very hard for us to find a lot of information since around elementary school level and below. When you you have to get a little creative when you start getting to middle school to high school. And the fact that yet again, you are filling that gap with quality self-led, self-paced education that a parent don't have to be a rocket scientist in order to teach or order to guide. I prefer the word guide because you have a inclusive system where the child can go in and literally the parent just need to make sure the child has internet access. They don't have to know all of this stuff.
Absolutely.
And so tell us a little bit about the setup of the kit, because do they get something every single month or do they get like a lesson plan for parents who create their lesson plans? How would it work for homeschoolers?
Got it. And I actually was I have the first kit right here. So the way that we've set this up and what you hit on was so important to me. I don't want you to have to do what I learned how to do. I just want you to be able to guide it. And so we set out to create self-paced, student-guided modules, right? Where we also have lesson plans. If an instructor wants the lesson plan, we created it. And we aligned it to national learning standards, which is something else too, right? When I was looking at some of the work that parents had to do, they may need to provide a justification at the end of the semester as to what they taught the student. And we've already done all of that. We've aligned it to middle school standards. We've learned it to high school standards, CSTA, NGSS. We've got you covered. But in addition to that, the modules are small. So let's say 5 to 10 minutes. You have instruction. It's hands-on. And if the student has any issues, you can just tap Lingo for tech support. And we have an entire arm of our business that is designed to support those one-on-one engagements. You can submit a ticket. You can have a Zoom with us. We're here because for me, my work is you, right? This is my sole purpose. I am here because I have this amazing testimony And I was able to grow this business out of all the things that I thought were meant to set me back, but were actually meant to set me up. And now I want to bring that into your homes. And I want you to trust me to help teach you and to teach your student about science and technology in the way that I have experienced it.
I love it, because for the simple fact that I like how you said student led, and the fact that uh, parents already have a lot that they have to incur with homeschooling as well. And so it depends upon which state that you're living in will dictate how much oversight regulations
Right.
that you have to have. But the fact that even if you live in what we call a relaxed state, a state that has little regulation, you still want to make sure that your child is hitting those milestones, so when they go out into the world, they'll be able to, navigate properly. So the fact that you took the time to make sure that, like in South Carolina, we do have to have we have regulations in certain areas. We call a moderate state. So that you went through and made sure that it met those requirements. And literally, everyone, this is your curriculum. Everyone talking about, well, how do you build the curriculum? Well, guess what? Lingo built it for you. You just need to get the box, get the kit, have the lesson plan. They have customer service. They got a ticket if you need something. Like, really? That's like your own private school.
It is. And listen, I love it. You nailed it, because for me, I wanted to make it turnkey. I want everyone to be successful with this box. I don't want anyone to feel intimidated. I don't want anyone to feel discouraged. I want you to go, okay, I got this. And I had an issue. I called them and they helped me. And we were able to not only get through it, but the student couldn't put it down. From time to time, I will go in the field. So I've been known to teach middle school from time to time. And I was teaching 8th grade in East St. Louis. And I'll never forget, a parent came into the classroom because she was worried that her kid wasn't out. She said, my kid every single day is out at the curb, ready for me to come pick him up. And I'm like, your kid refused to leave because he was proud of what he did today in class. And he took her through how he turned that in the driver's seat into a board that could make music. That's our second lesson. And he played for her a song that he had composed, and she was just in shock. And I felt like that is what I'm here to do. That's why I want them to lead it. I want them to be inspired and say, I feel comfortable, I know how to do this, and I'm excited, and I'm going to choose to learn more.
Wow. Now, many of our homeschooling parents that's listening, watching on TV, or wherever you're tuning in from, they're probably saying, okay, now, Dr. Tina, Aisha, you've been talking about this box, and I don't have to do anything but buy the box. Where's the box? How can I get the box? And all that good stuff like that. So how can we get your kits?
So you can purchase a kit on stemlingo.com. And for anybody who's homeschool, we have a different package. So we've got 3 options. You can purchase the kit as a subscription, where the learner will receive a new activity each month, which is great, especially for in the summer when you may experience some learning loss, or maybe you want to take a trip, or maybe you just want to have some time to relax. You can continue to get an activity. But for our homeschool community, I always encourage you to go online and hit the button that says for schools and request a quote, because we have all of the curriculum packaged already with all of the lessons. And that is what we really would like to provide you. And that is part of the package that we have underneath that school's banner. So there's more if you go to the site than just a box. You can get all the content, all the curriculum, and all the videos, and you can choose how you want to share that with your student.
And yes, for everyone who's looking right now, able to watch us on television and online TV and on social media, you can see this is just some of the activities and different things that you will be able to explore on Lingo. So make sure you go to stemlingo.com. That is STEMLINGO.com for those of you who listening in on radio and those of you listening in on podcasting networks. All of this is a great way for you to be able to de-stress the homeschooling process. For many of us, You did not intend. Some of you are homeschoolers of choice, and some of you are homeschooling because you were thrust into the world of homeschooling. Being an educator myself in the public school system, later on turned homeschool mom. That was not my plan. I was thrust into homeschooling because I had a medical sensitive child. And so I was told that it would probably be the best thing for them because he stays sick 24/7. And so it happened to be one of the best decisions. And so I am all about, this is not a regular kid. I have been sponsored and did all kind of different kits over the past decade. And I have never, ever seen a kit that is a school in a box. I see kits, but not a kit plus school in a box, meaning they have a back end where you go in and log in and be able to watch these videos to go along with the kit. Like literally what Aisha said is that it's turnkey. It's ready for you to be able to use. It's ready for you to be able to give to your child to be able to explore. And who knows what this is going to unlock for your child. It can start unlocking different things in their brain that they never even use, places that they never even use, ignite confidence in them that they never had, because now they have the time and they're self-led and they're able to get walked through and they're able to see themselves. Let's keep it real. We need to see ourselves in these different industries, in these different areas that we read about 24/7, but we don't see ourselves, but we do exist.
And your words are, it is a dream to be able to have this conversation with you, because when I decided that we were going to start the second business and that we were going to focus on this age group, I can't tell you how many investors and how many people said, no one's going to buy that. There's no market for that. And I said, I am the market. And you can't tell me how to invest in my money. And we totally broke all of the expectations, because we were able to raise through traditional venture capital nearly $2 million to do this, because this deserves to be seen. And as you said, it's not a box, it is a movement. I want people to learn from people who look like them in their home. I want them to have culturally relevant role models that they can follow through their careers. And the classes are taught by another African-American female, Danielle Regis, double degree, Cornell Computer Science, Harvard MBA. And she comes from a family where she had a similar background to me. And these were the things that she wished that she had when she was growing up too. Dr. Jarvis Sulser, who leads our education and is co-founder at Lingo, PhD, nuclear engineering, HBCU grad. I invite people to learn more about who we are, because this truly is a labor of love from us to the community. And we hope that you're inspired. We hope that you learn, and we hope that you support us in changing who gets to teach your students how to be great.
So everyone, she came in and shared all of this information with you. From this information and this interview, what I want you to see is that you have the power to change the trajectory of your life. It doesn't matter what happened in the first 12 years. Your child, that doesn't mean that your child reached their plateau in 12th grade. We see with Aisha how her life started at community college. And look how many history milestones she had made thus far. And then she's taking a step further where she's coming in and coming back to the community so that she can instill that same greatness in all of our children and let us see, like, hey, it's not over. I'm just getting started. I'm just now pulling all of you in. I need you guys to see what's happening, because I feel that we need to have this conversation before we go about the way the world is changing, it's shifting. You cannot go hide up in a rock. You cannot act like this is not happening, that the world is not changing into digital. You have to learn how to work these processes. You have to expose. If you don't know how to do it, you have to expose your children to this type of learning, because this is the way the world, I should say, is shifting, and it's not going back to what we used to have. So could we talk a little bit about that before we go, and how important and crucial it is? Because this box is helping them
Yeah.
be able to understand and be able to be front runners in this new era. And they need that.
You nailed it. I read a stat the other day that 80% of the future jobs are STEM jobs. 80%. And that may not mean that you're a computer scientist, but it means that whatever function you're doing will require you to interact with a computer, a robot, or maybe something that's artificial intelligence. And so these skills are foundational. They're life skills. And everyone deserves to have the opportunity to learn them. Not to mention that we want to have a seat at the table. I've said, before that you're only as good as the smartest person in the room who developed that algorithm, who developed that piece of software. And oftentimes, we, people of color, generally are not in the room. And so the outcomes are not that great. I still have a hard time getting my iPhone to recognize me in low light. I don't know about any of y'all, right? So it's important that when we talk about facial recognition and we talk about ChatGPT and we talk about all of these algorithms, that we have people who have been exposed to these concepts early and who can contribute to the equitable development and advancement of these concepts so that we are treated fairly and properly in the future.
I agree with you 1000% because this is the new era. And so maybe we could have got away with it 10, 20 years ago because everyone didn't want to adapt to the cell phone. But now everyone has a cell phone. I remember when debit cards first started coming out, that people like, I'm using cash. I'm going to write my check. But look, now you can't even imagine yourself not having a credit card or a debit card, right? So this is that new wave in history. You're a part of it, whether you want to be a part of it or not. But what we don't want is for our children not to have the information because we're leaving this world to them. Yep. And if we're not exposing them to this, if we're not allowing them to have this information, then we're doing them a disservice. So I want you guys to go to stemlingo.com. That is stemlingo.com. And Aisha was so kind to give us a code. Yes, a discount code, a 10% off. Go to homeschooling 10. Type in homeschooling 10 to be able to get that discount code. Asia, thank you so much for coming on the show today and sharing your story, sharing your why, and just giving us some of your time. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. And I really want to encourage people, if you have questions, I'm a real person. Please reach out to me. Hit me up on Instagram. Hit me up on LinkedIn. You can find me underneath my name. If you see something on the website that you have a question about, we're happy to answer it. And we want you to have the content in the curriculum. So engage us. Thank you so much, Dr. Tina. This has been phenomenal.
Oh, I enjoyed it as well. So we'll definitely be keeping in contact because we're both wanting the children to be able to have that brighter future. And this is the new era. And so thank you for making it cost effective. Thank you for giving us a discount code because we love that. And thank you for doing what you're doing and coming back to pay it forward for the communities, not leaving us behind. We appreciate it. So we'll see you on hopefully bring you back again. And just thank you for giving us some of your time.
Thank you.
Listen, everyone, wasn't that absolutely amazing? So make sure to check out and go get your kits from stemlingo.com. And again, that code is homeschooling, ING, 10 to get that 10% off. We really enjoyed having her. And she's also, Aisha is also in our Melanated Homeschooling Families Connect digital magazine. So you can read more about her history, her bio. And you can also, because it's digital, you can click and order because we know you don't like to do too much work. So you can click and buy, click and order to make your life much easier. This is a truly remarkable, inspirational story of hope, of inspiration, of seeing the real life representation of delayed but not denied. This is something that I wanted you to see. I want you to see and hear the representation. I want you to hear and know her and hear her heart, and I want you to understand why this is so crucial, why this is so important. Honey, that kit is where it's at. So when you get it, do a little video. and let us see it and tag us to it because we want to see how the baby's learning. Okay. On that note, you guys have a great, amazing rest of your day, and we'll see you in the next Melanated Homeschooling Families podcast. We'll talk to you later. Make sure to like, follow, share, and subscribe, and tune in at CTR Media Network and download us on the Roku app. Talk to you later.
Join the She Trucking Foundation today and be a part of a supportive community of women in the trucking industry. Unlock exclusive access to valuable resources, including mentorship, educational workshops, and networking opportunities. Whether you're an experienced professional or just starting your trucking journey, She Trucking is here to empower you and help you thrive. Visit www.shetrucking.com to join us and drive your trucking career to new heights.
Open enrollment is pretty much like Shark Week. You make a mistake and put your information online, you get calls after call after call. And before you know it, you go badass crazy because you can't go back and undo what you've done. Here at the Health Insurance Helper, we don't cold call. We get our referral from our clients and referral partner. What separates us from everyone else? We offer a customizable plan that utilizes the largest PPO network in the nation. So please give us a call. We will love to bring peace of mind to you and your loved ones.
Okay, so welcome to season 2. I'm gonna go ahead and roll my intro real quick. You guys are not gonna be able to see the intro live on here, but you will be able to watch it on YouTube if you go to my channel. And it's the same thing, Boss Lady Star. So I'm gonna go play the intro, and then I'm gonna wait for my people to come in so we can get this panel started and get this conversation going. So give me 2 seconds to play this intro. Oh my gosh, I had to pull this up better. I should have had my son do it while he was still here. Let's see. Okay, so here goes the intro, y'all.
3, 2, 1.
Talk about it. Let's talk about it. Talk about it. Pour up a cup, invite on. Boss Lady Star is on. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
You are now tuned in to Boss Lady Star.
Thank you, Blackness. I appreciate it. All right, so I want to send this. I have my DMs off right now, but I was trying to send it to my people who are supposed to be on the panel. I'm looking for Cash. I'm looking for General Barron. There's a couple more people. Our counselor for this week will not be on here, unfortunately, but that's okay. We'll have a counselor for next week. So every week we're going to have a relationship counselor, and we'll also have a life coach of some type. So we can talk about relationships and people can get honest answers. Ones that are coming on here that want relationship advice, I do not do that. But what I can do is talk about it. So that's why we're here to talk about it. And I'm glad you guys are here and you joined me today. Please share the live, and I appreciate you all. If you guys have something to say about the topics, then please talk about it in the comments, and I will try to make sure I share. If I don't get a chance to say hi to everybody, I will definitely try to do it before I leave. Hey, Lita. But make sure you guys keep checking us out. It's going to be every Saturday. It's going to be a live panel. There'll be different people on here giving their perspective about how they feel about relationships. So tonight's topic is we're going to talk about getting to know your partner. So thank you so much. I appreciate it. we're going to be talking about getting to know your partners. The people that are watching from YouTube and Twitter and Facebook, welcome, thank you, and make sure you guys can join me on TikTok. Next week I'm gonna switch the platform over to YouTube, and I'll just bounce around a little bit until I feel what's going to be more comfortable. But at the same time, like I said, we are here to talk about relationships, so we're going to get into it. Let me see if I can get my people on here, because if not, then I would just start taking some questions from the audience, and we'll just keep on rolling forward. Because I want to keep us, to 1 hour. We're not going over. If the conversation gets a little hot and heavy, and it feels like, oh, okay, well, this needs to be continued, then we'll continue it on another weekend. We'll just continue it the next weekend, because I have topics for about 36 weeks right now. So I'm planning it out so I can have something fresh every week, and we can discuss new things and new topics. So that's what I'm looking to do. I'm bringing everybody in and inviting everybody into my room and letting them know that it's a comfortable place to talk about relationships. I don't want names given. If there's somebody you've been dating, especially if you've been dating somebody that's online, please do not give their name, their screen name, nothing like that. Unless they're on here with you and they want to talk about the relationship, together, then that's perfectly fine. Other than that, we're going to keep it real peaceful, and we're going to keep it real respectful, and we're just going to have conversation talk. So, like I said, today's topic is getting to know your partner. How do you guys feel about getting to know your partner? What do you think are some ways that you can get to know your partner? It was really big, definitely like right before, not before COVID, pre-COVID, it was definitely talked about, like with the love language. I got that book sent to me. Hey, Life, so what's up, Pooh? We had so many discussions about that before with different panels, like in other people's lives and other people's podcasts, about the 5 love languages. And I thought that was a great topic. I purchased a couple of books and gave it to a couple of friends, and I was like, look, just read it through and figure out which one's your top love language. I think that's a good icebreaker when you're trying to pursue somebody in a relationship and you're trying to be one-on-one. Hey, so I think that that's a good thing to do, is to sit down and discuss how to communicate with your partner. Some people just think that it's easy breezy, and like, oh, well, we don't really have to talk about too much. No, you have to talk about everything. You want to get to know that person's likes and that person's dislikes. You want to see what turns them on and what turns them off. You want to make sure that you're getting to know each other on an intimate level, and you want to explore all options in all areas. It can't happen overnight. It does take time, and that's something that a lot of people try to rush into. They want to get to know everything about that person overnight, and it doesn't work that way. So it is best to take time and try to sit things out and see, hey, Stacey, and try to sit things out and say, hey, let's discuss, your do's and your don'ts and things that you like and you dislike. What's up, Shuhar? How are you? Like I said, if I don't get a chance to say hi to everybody that's coming out, I do apologize. We are streaming on TikTok. We're streaming on Facebook. We're streaming on, it's supposed to be Instagram. Instagram fell off, but that's okay. We got Facebook, and we also have YouTube and Twitter. So we streaming right now. That's what we're doing. But so our topic tonight, once again, is getting to know your partner. So that's what we're discussing. And if you guys have some comments or some feedback, I would like to hear from you so that we can discuss it a little bit more. It's not only for me, it's for everybody else that's here. What's up, bestie? So that I can sit there and get people's feedback about what they like to discuss when you're meeting somebody. As I stated before, you're not going to sit there and get to know the person that you're with overnight. It doesn't happen like that. It does take time. I do live by the 5 love languages. Whoever I'm talking to or dating, I'm like, look, let's you take the test. I'll take the test. And if they come back with I already know my love language, I'm like, here we go. Because your love language can change, and it can change person to person. Because there might be some highs for them or some highs for you or lows for them that, kind of makes your love language change a little bit. It doesn't change you as a person, but at the same time, you might like things a little bit more with this person that you didn't like about the person before, so I think that's really important to discuss and have it wide open, and, just kind of get feedback from your partner and see how they feel about certain things. So I think that's very important. How do you guys suggest to get to know your partner? Like I said, our counselor is supposed to be here, but they canceled at the last minute, and that's totally fine. We're going to still keep rocking and rolling. I'm waiting for some of my people from my panel to join. They might have forgot. That's okay. I didn't send no reminders out. We've been talking about this for a while, so it is what it is. We just go ahead and keep it flowing, and that's what we're going to do. But what other ways do you guys see that is a good way to get to know your partner. What do you guys think? I want some feedback from the crowd. So, and if anybody wants to get in, just, try to do an invite, and then I can pull you up on the screen and we can go from there. What's up, Chaser Paper? Chaser, what's going on? And I can pull you guys in. You guys can give me some feedback. You don't got to be on here for the whole live, but you can come in and say your comments, and then you can go back into the comments if you want to. But if you want to say your comments aloud on the screen, just do an invite and I'll add you. Once again, people that are watching, I appreciate you guys for being here. We are streaming live from TikTok. However, I am also on YouTube and Facebook and Twitter, going live right now. So other people that want to jump on those platforms, you can watch it from there as well. Time, yes, that's important. Sheila, what's up, Sheila? What's going on? Yeah, so you said time. That is important. Yes, I did express that it is important to have time with your partner. The topic for tonight is getting to know your partner. So, hey, what's going on? So I think that it is important to have time, with your partner and getting to know them. Things don't happen overnight. Of course you might want something, but at the same time, it's not going to just happen, overnight. So, yeah, if like I said, anybody wants to get in and, say their comments, they can come in and say their comments real quick. You don't have to be on here for the whole live, but it's supposed to be a live panel, at least 6 people. I don't want to have too many people. Girl, thank you. Look, I was struggling with them lashes, honey. I'm about to call you on FaceTime, like, walk me through this, but you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and go throw them on there. Anyways, that's not what we talk about. All right, so Nicole says, spending quality time with your partner. Don't be afraid to ask each other questions. Absolutely, absolutely. That is a big point to make with being in a relationship. It is very important to ask questions. The ones you think that are the scary ones are probably the ones you need to ask the most, because you're like, you know what, I wonder if, or I think this, or I might think that, and you could overthink something. So if you don't put it out there in the atmosphere and ask your partner, hey, how do you feel about this? Or how do you think we should handle this situation or whatever? It's very important to communicate. Very important. Yeah, exactly. Closed mouths don't get fed. Absolutely. Absolutely. Being loyal to each other. Yeah, so that being loyal to each other in the very beginning when you're getting to know somebody, and the rest of the relationship too. It is very important to be loyal. And so we're talking about getting to know them, from the beginning, but at the same time, it is important to establish that, and that comes with the questions, so if you're sitting there and you're talking to somebody and you want to know some feedback from them, and you want to get that, that in-depth response, and you want that face-to-face, that eye contact, and, sitting there just talking to each other and getting to know each other, then it's best that you do communicate. And then that way you can build on that loyalty. So that is very important. I'm glad that you said that. So yes. What else do you guys think are some great tips that are good for people that are, getting to know their partner? Like we said, quality time, and time was something that was said already. Loyalty was another one that was put out there. So yeah, I definitely appreciate that one, loyalty. Like I said, I really live by the 5 languages. I think that those other languages just haven't been established in a book, but still, the 5 love languages is definitely very important to me, because you can sit there and you can get to know how to communicate with your partner. So absolutely. Oh yes, Sheila, you need to jump in the box, because yeah, you need to go ahead and talk. Let's talk about it. Anyways, yeah, definitely being transparent. Being transparent is very good. Honest and keeping everything 100. True, absolutely true. Those are 2 good points. So I'm going to attack the first one first, Sheila. It is very important to be transparent. And that goes along with what Chase said as far as the loyalty. So it kind of you're being loyal, but at the same time, you're being open. You're being open, you're being honest with your partner, letting them know, like, hey, this is what's going on. I have family members that, they can't walk, and they need to put that out there and let them know, because you sit there and meet them and thinking that you're getting this person that's, able-bodied, but at the same time, that's one of their disabilities, but they don't want to share it. I'm like, it's going to come out eventually. You have to have that type of discussion. I have family members that are like slightly deaf in their ears, and they sign, but at the same time, they can talk, but they might not hear everything that you're saying. So I'm like, a nice way to bring it up with this brand new with somebody is to say, hey, you need to talk a little bit louder in this ear. You know what I'm saying? Or, if you're out in public, you don't want somebody screaming, then at least, hey, can you write this down and then say it to me kind of, so I know exactly what you're talking about. So yeah, I think that that's important, definitely, to have that transparency open and be able to share with your partner, hey, these are some things that are going on with me. It doesn't have to always be medical, you know what I'm saying? It could be something financial. You start a brand new relationship and you broke, hey, put it out there. Hey, I'm broke. We're going to do some cheap dates. I really like you, but this is what we about to do. You know, because I really want to spend time and I want to get to know you, but I ain't got it like that to be go on the roof, Chris, or whatever, you know what I'm saying? But just, you know, keeping it 100, keeping it 100. That's what Stacey had said before, you know, being honest and keeping everything 100. So yeah, if you're out there and you're in the world where you're dating, and you're trying to get to know somebody, because that's the topic for tonight, we're going to try to stay on topic. If you're trying to get to know somebody and you're trying to, you know, go further in the relationship, is definitely very important. What's that meaning? It's very important to let those things be known. Hey, I got a financial issue, you know what I'm saying? Hey, I like to gamble, you know, I like to play scratch offs. I like to go swimming in the rain sometimes when the lightning strikes, whatever the case may be, but just being transparent is very important. So yeah, I like those. Those are good. Those are good pointers in a relationship. Getting to know somebody, getting to know your partner, you know, thing that was kept repeated over and over again was time. So time definitely is important. And then also being able to be transparent. Being transparent is something that is needed. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you. Welcome back, Triple B. Yeah, so I want some more time. Everybody else give me something else. Like I want something else that people say, okay, when I get to know somebody, I want to know this about them, or you think it's a good sharing point to talk about. What do you guys think? I want some feedback. So we got time. We got being loyal. We got being transparent. You know, those are all great things when you're starting something brand new with somebody. And I think that carries on. Oh my gosh, yes, knowing their family. We'll definitely talk about that. Public display of affection. You did say PDA before. I'm sorry, it came up and I read it and I was going to go back to it, but I forgot to go back. So thank you for putting it again. But yes, getting to know the person's family, that's very important too. How soon do you think you should meet their family? That's another thing. So for me, when I get to know somebody, I'm like, oh, I'm on head over heels. I want them to meet my immediate family first. Then I'll let them meet everybody else later. But at the same time, I like them to meet them first. And I do that because, first of all, the world we live in today. So I want to be safe. And I'm like, okay, you got to meet like these key people. These people are most important in my life. And I need to make sure that they know who you are. They know what you look like. You know, my mom, when I started dating, like in high school, she used to be like, take a picture. Well, we didn't have picture phones back then. Write down the license plate. But as you got older, take a picture of the license plate. Make sure you know where their house is. I've let those things slip from my mind growing up. And so I don't even pay attention to those things no more. And it's so important to do it now because things are just, you don't know who exactly you're out there dating. And you think you might know that person, but you really don't know. So it's good to make sure that you get to know the family, you know, like, yeah, you can't keep telling me, oh, you're going to meet so-and-so. Okay, when? Next year, the year after? Like, I think that is important to get to know the family, especially if I pulled you into my immediate circle. I don't expect to meet somebody's family members immediately like I do with mine. But eventually, like I'm thinking eventually, like within the first 3 to 6 months, I think that should be fair to be like, okay, hey, I want you to meet my kids, or I want you to meet so-and-so, whatever. I think that's very important. Knowing the family, that was one. So let me go back up real quick. So you said emotional PDAs. Yes, I think that, so very much so when you're starting a new relationship, that goes into the communication part though. So you want to be able to talk about it first, which was Sheila was saying, being transparent. You want to be able to be transparent, like, hey, I like to hold hands. I like to kiss out in public. You want to have those conversations with your partner and find out what they like and what they dislike, because that's that getting to know each other part. So you can't sit there and automatically assume like, well, yeah, I'm gonna go snatch my lady up and we about to be walking the streets all, you know, holding hand. It might be hot out and she don't want to do all that. She'd be like, okay, I'm standing right next to you, like we out together. Or the girl might be like, oh yeah, we about to be kissing and swab that. And the guy be like, yo, we could do that at home, or we could do it in the car. We ain't gotta be all in public doing that. So it goes back to communication and being transparent and talking to your partner, finding out exactly what they like, if they do like PDA or they don't. You know, so public display of affection is definitely something, a starter for a relationship. You're absolutely right. Let me see. Once you're in a stable relationship first. Yeah. So, okay. I think you're talking about as far as the family. So yes. And that's what I was saying, like, as far as the time frame. So I'm thinking like within 3 to 6 months, it should be some kind of communication about, hey, when am I going to meet such and such, or when I'm going to meet somebody. Like, I can't stand with somebody, oh, my best friend. And I'm like, well, I want to meet your best friend. I mean, you're gonna meet him eventually. All right, never mind. Don't even worry about it. Don't worry about it. But no, yeah, I think that is important. Having some type of stable relationship first. So if you do have a stable relationship and you guys are still brand new, it's something that can be talked about. Oh, thank you, Nathan, so much. I appreciate you. It's very important to discuss that as well. So I think talking about going back to time, I think that's something that should be discussed in the very beginning. Hey, we're talking. You don't have to be written down every little, bit and pieces. Like, oh yeah, well we have to do this today. No, we don't. We can sit there and say, well, we're gonna do next month. Okay, next month I'm gonna introduce you to X, Y, Z or whatever. But yeah, so I think that's very important. My phone might cut out for a second because I got a message. But okay, let's go. Okay. It's important to know that we are two individuals coming together. Oh my gosh, come on, preach, come on, Sheila. We have our own lives to live. Absolutely, yes. And that comes with the, communication again. Just, being transparent, like you said before, and making sure that everybody's on the same page. Like you said, there's two people. You know what I'm saying? Y'all wasn't born together. Y'all didn't come out the womb together. So y'all come two different individuals coming together, trying to make something work. And you're trying to work towards a long-lasting relationship, but definitely two different people coming together. That's a good point to make, especially in the beginning. When it comes to starting out something brand new, you want to have those guidelines and kind of like some kind of barriers of, okay, what we're trying to do, what we're trying to work for, without rushing into it. But still, that's still the beginning, so that's perfect. I think I hit everybody's comments that said something, so I appreciate that. I appreciate y'all feedback. Wait, hold on. Agree with us with the family part. Yeah, definitely with the family. So like I said, I think that benefits and disbeliefs. Oh, beliefs and disbeliefs. Oh yeah, that's definitely a starter. That's definitely a starter for relationships. It's important to have those kind of conversations so that you guys are on the same page. There's some religions that don't allow other people, or beliefs and disbeliefs. There's people that don't believe in dating people from a different religion or a different background or anything. They don't believe in it, but that's their choice. And then they could choose to say like, oh, you're this perfect person for me, but because of this, then I just can't look past that. So that is something that needs to be discussed, beliefs and disbeliefs. So yeah, absolutely. I don't want to insult people. Yeah, true. Milt, I know you've been jumping in and out. I appreciate you coming through too. If you have something you want to say, you want to get on the panel, that's fine. I had like 2 or 3 people that's supposed to be a part of the panel. I think they forgot, and that's fine. We're going to keep on going because I'm going off at 7 o'clock so I can go edit and upload. We are live here on TikTok, and we are also live on YouTube and Twitter, and Facebook. So we live all over right now. It's supposed to be on IG, but IG dropped off. So what is that? Dr. Anderson, thank you for walking in, Dr. Anderson. The discussion tonight is about relationships, and we're talking about beginning of relationships, how you're supposed to like get along, and what are some of the things you start talking about in the very beginning when you're starting to focus on relationship. I thought that was a perfect place to start tonight for the simple fact that you have to start somewhere. So the whole season is going to be about relationships and conversations about that. But I want to start off at the beginning, getting to know your partner. So today that's what we're talking about, getting to know your partner. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. But yeah, so that's what's most important to me is making sure, you guys hit like all the big ones on the head. Time is important. Talking about public display of affection. No, I'm saying if you want to jump in, you can jump in. Just push invite and I can invite you so you could be on the panel too. Anybody else that wants to jump on the panel, I guess I'm jumping off right at 7. I'm going to be on time with it. Thank you guys for helping me achieve my goal. I appreciate that as well. But yes, so we discussed that time is very important. Getting to know your partner, talking about public display of affection. That's very important as well. Because you want to know, you want to know what's okay and what's not okay, amongst the two of you. Understanding that you guys are two individuals that are trying to come together as one. That's very, very important. There's a lot of people that have beliefs of, oh, I'm the man, I'll lead. And then there's some people that are like, well, hey, I'm the head of the household because I make the most money. So those are conversations that you have because you guys are living separate lives, but you want to come together. So you want to be on the same page in the same books. You can be on the same page in different books, and that can get a little bad. But anyways, it definitely is important to have those discussions and being transparent. That was a couple of things that was really, really important. Being loyal and getting to know your partner. And that's the topic for tonight, was getting to know your partner. So I'm going to do a little break Y'all not gonna be able to see it, but I'm gonna do it on this end for YouTube, and the YouTube people are gonna see the 30-second commercial about being powered by CTR Media. So give me 1 second, and Milton, I'm gonna come back to your comment.
CTR Media Network is now accepting new podcasters to join our growing network that's reaching 350 million global listeners. Have you heard? CTR Media Network offers podcast production, podcast training, distribution, and product placement. Book us for your next event or schedule an interview with CTR Media Network podcasters today. To learn more, go to ctrmedianetwork.com.
All right, and we back, and that was from CTR Media Network. If you guys don't know about them, y'all better go ahead. They're on everything. They're on TikTok. They're on Instagram. They're on YouTube. They have their own website and their own channel, is ctrmedianetwork.com. My whole function of everything that I do is powered by CTR Media Network. So let's go back to the comment. I believe we all need to filter out the things that don't work naturally between us. Absolutely. And then let's see what else you said. Gender roles, in my opinion, hurt over relationships. Yeah, over relationships, because we start the section ourselves off from them. That's true too. Yeah. So I agree with that. I agree with that too. When you're starting to do gender roles, that's a touchy topic. That's a whole nother topic by itself. Gender roles is a whole nother topic, and I say that because it could get broken down so many different ways. And what one person believes, somebody else might not believe, and then it just goes haywire. But like you said before, naturally, the things that don't work out naturally between y'all. So yes, if you're in a relationship with someone and you're starting and it's brand new and you're starting to discuss certain things, and when you start discussing those certain things, it gets a little bit rocky because they believe one thing over the other. Yeah, then you might want to sit there and think that one through a little bit, because it can get into like a little battle, and it shouldn't be. You know, it should be just a natural conversation. Welcome in. How are you, Dr. Sanderson? That's what it is. Sorry about that. I'm pretty good.
Good. I kind of just wanted to add, like me personally, I've been married since 1996, so I'm thinking this year makes 27 years.
Okay.
But one thing I have kind of learned, and just watching, like I have a son that's 26, and the thing that I instilled in him is that, you know, when you start a new relationship, you know, give it a little time at the beginning, but kind of, you know, ask, you know, what their goals are.
Right.
You know, to kind of see where they're headed at, because a lot of times, you know, you'll have, you know, male and female, you know, they'll get involved with someone because they may see how much money you make, or may see how much you drive, but don't have no ambitions for themselves.
Right.
So, and you know, and I kind of see that, and you know, I hope neither one of them are watching, because I'm gonna say what I got to say.
Right.
But I kind of see that in, you know, the person that he's dealing with, you know, because I think he was more caught up with the sex part of it, you know, and I get it, you know, when you're young,
right?
You know, I get, and I get it, but I kind of lived and learned, so I try to instill in them the things that I wish I'd have learned back then.
Right.
But yeah, I say definitely, you know, see where a person's goals are. You know, what ambitions do they have in life? To kind of see if y'all goals even match.
Right.
Check their credit score. I mean, that's you know, that's the real important thing, because you don't want to get with nobody and you have ambitions of wanting things in life,
right? But
you have somebody that's kind of really more dragging you down, versus then, you know, pushing you, whether it be male or female.
Right.
It goes both ways. But I say definitely, you know, in the learning stages, you know, if you have any red flags to see, okay, because you know as well as I know, when you first meet somebody, the first few times, you're going to meet their representative.
Right. Absolutely.
You're not going to meet the real person.
Right.
But the real person comes out once you move your butt in with. So you're going to see some stuff versus, you know, when you were just, visiting them for a few here and there.
Right.
To where you just probably have to deal with them an hour or two and go home.
Mm-hmm.
Versus, now it's 24/7. But just see if a person has the same ambitions and same goals. Well, you just have goals for themselves. Maybe not the same ambitions and goals that you have, but just have some ambitions and drive to want something in life.
Right.
Because it can come to bite you, further down the line, and you'll be kicking yourself in the butt 20 years later.
Right. Absolutely.
10 years later. But take that time. You may find a woman, that's beautiful and man giving you everything you want, you think you need. It ain't worth a damn. Versus a woman can find a man think he's all that. It ain't worth a damn, and you come to find out, well, damn, I done wasted all this damn time behind somebody that didn't want nothing and definitely didn't want me.
Right.
So take your time and just make a smart decision. Don't rush into that. Don't let nobody make you feel less than you are, because a lot of times when people know how you really feel about them, they'll use that to their advantage.
Right, they play off of it. Absolutely. Yeah, I've seen that so many times. Yeah.
Exactly. So they know you won't necessarily walk away.
Right.
Or they can do certain things to you and know that there's nothing that you're going to do about it.
Right.
So just don't fall for that trap. Just know your self-worth and know that you're meant to be loved as well, and that the feelings are supposed to be mutual, not one-sided.
One-sided.
And you can tell. A lot of people, you'll know, you'll see the red flags. But a lot of people don't want to believe what they see versus they just want to believe how they feel.
Right.
Or want to believe what they think that you are. Sometimes a person tells you exactly who they are.
Right. You just don't want to believe it. Some people just don't want to believe it. Yeah. So.
Some people just don't. And hell, I can speak on situations, that myself. That I've been there.
Right.
I've been there. I'm a man. I'm pretty sure all of us have situations. So, well, okay, I wish we would have went this direction or that direction. But when we have kids, you try to give them the game.
Right.
Now sometimes they don't take it. They still want to touch that hot stove.
Right.
You told them it was hot. But life is the best teacher.
Absolutely.
Life is the best teacher.
Somebody said do a background check. I think that's important, but like he was saying, like doing like credit checks and so on. Not credit, but he said do a credit check and stuff like that. I think that's more towards when you're about to move in. I think that's important, because then you kind of know what you're getting yourself into before even making that step. And then Milton said, truly get to know them, leaving no stones unturned. And that's true too. Because you're just sitting there looking at, not just the outside, but the inner side. And then Lita said, which is important too. Wait, I passed it and then I went back. Hold on one second. She said something about getting to know them for the season. Oh, there it goes. Knowing an individual throughout the seasons. And that's very important. I was watching some show the other day on one of these streaming channels. I was watching it, and when I was looking at it, they were saying, yeah, you have to be able to know how that person handles death, how that person handles losing a job, how that person handles a brand new kid. Like you have to get to know them through those different seasons. You can do that together. You don't have to do that separately. You can do that together. That's the only way you're going to get to know your partner the best, but it's going to take time for that. So it's not something that's going to be handled, taken care of immediately. How long have you been married? He said he's been married for 26 years.
Yeah,
27, excuse me. Yeah, going on 27.
And one more thing I wanted to, a lot of people don't take marriage seriously. Well, as far as the for better or for worse part. I'm gonna tell you a story about what happened to me back in 2021 in July.
Give me 1 second. 1 second.
Okay.
Just because this comment hits really heavy. They said this day and time, some people lie so good it's believable. That's so true. That is true. That is true. Yeah, social media is definitely a big thing that helps out with that. And like everything looks good, but it's not what it seems. People be sitting there flossing like they got houses and cars and money galore, and they taking trips and ain't left nowhere, working part-time. at the McDonald's and can't even get a full-time job because of their history. So yeah, absolutely. You're absolutely right with that. But okay, I'm sorry. Go with your story that you're gonna say.
Well, back in July of 21, I was at work doing my job. I was driving the garbage truck. You know, that's what I was doing at the time. And a guy decided to take his own life, and he hit me head on at 80 miles an hour.
Oh wow!
I didn't see him coming. I remember someone coming to the truck, just listening to him, you know, asking me, was I okay? And at the time, I didn't know what happened.
Right.
And the next voice I heard is saying, Jamal, it's not your time. And I knew that was God.
Right.
And I don't remember being pulled out the truck. I don't remember riding no ambulance. I remember waking up in a hospital room. But I say it to say this, what I said back earlier, you know, and for better or for worse. With my wife, we didn't have our ups and downs.
Right.
But at that hospital, I was in the hospital almost 3 months. My foot was crushed. My femur bone was broke. Had broken ribs, you know, broken finger. I was messed up.
Right.
But I can say my wife stayed at that hospital with me every single night.
Right.
For those 2 months. And even when I got home, you know, I couldn't walk. I was wheelchair bound. I had to learn to walk again.
Right.
You know, so it was things that I couldn't do, you know, for myself. You know, I couldn't, you know, I'm gonna say it, I couldn't wipe my own butt.
Right.
But she did it for me. So, and that's another thing, is so careful to know who you choose. Like I say, you will know how a person is, but you just have to be willing to accept what you see.
Right.
Because a person can't wait to tell you how they feel about it. They gonna tell you.
Absolutely.
And it's not necessarily gonna be with words.
Right.
So you'll know. But I say this to say, for anything for better is all good, man. You know, people gonna party with you, but when you in those dark times, those bad times,
right,
that's when you know that you have a true partner. And that's someone that you want to hold on to.
Right.
Because if you seen Tyler Perry movie, you seen that woman came back after her husband left her. But she stuck with her vows and took care of it, man.
Right.
No matter how she dogged them out. But most people these days will tell you, shit, I didn't sign up for that.
Right. They be out.
And I just seen that happen to other people, you know. Family members get sick and they spouse like, I didn't sign up for this.
Right.
And gone.
Yeah.
Left you. And I pray nothing happens to anyone, you know, out there. But I just say be careful on the partner, you know, that you choose. Don't just rush into anything.
Right.
Don't just think that you have to accept this person because you've been looking for somebody for so long and you finally got somebody. Just be careful. Trust me, when the timing is right, the right person gonna fall right into place and it's gonna be the perfect time.
Absolutely. I appreciate you for coming in and telling me your side of the story and what you've been through. And that is a perfect testimony for, you know, the episode 1 as far as getting to know your partner. And like I said, that was the topic for tonight. And that's definitely appreciated because you gave some feedback that, you know, to make people open their eyes pretty much, especially when it comes to relationships.
Exactly.
Everybody wants to be loved. Shit, I want to be loved. Everybody wants to be loved, but at the same time, you just can't rush into it. You know, you just can't rush into it. So yeah, it's definitely important. Definitely important to try to stick with the person that you mean. Okay, a woman will stick with the man through it all, but with the man will not. There's men that will, and there's men that won't, and then there's women that will, and there's women that won't. So it really just depends, you know. And that's what he was explaining. Like you get to know that person. When you're starting to, you know, when you're dating them and it's one-on-one, then you get to know like, oh, that person's gonna stick around, but you have to kind of get to that point where it actually happens, you know, before you can sit there and say, yeah, nah, they're not the one. So, but yeah, I definitely appreciate you swinging through. We're gonna be live every Saturday at 6 p.m. It's gonna be for 1 hour, 6 to 7. So you're more than welcome to come back at any time and make sure you keep on watching and give us some comments, some feedback. We appreciate you.
Well, definitely. I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah.
You guys have a great day.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Let's see. Flight risk said a woman told me sickness and health. She also said indefinitely. So when you say no, so what? A woman told me sickness and health. She also said indefinitely. So I'm not sure exactly what you're trying to say, but yeah. I'm not sure exactly what you're trying to say with your statement. You said a woman said that in sickness and health, right? So when you get married, like in sickness and health, and then you said indefinitely, and then you say no. Why would you say no? I'm not sure about that one. But yeah, I do appreciate the doctor coming in, Dr. Sanderson. That was dope. Yeah, indefinitely. She said even if they cheat. Oh, well, that's a personal decision. That's something that needs to be discussed between those two partners. So if the understanding is with one partner to the other, as far as cheating, like if one person says, hey, I'm cool. I'm not cool, but they say like, okay, yeah, you did your thing, but don't do it no more. Then that's the decision between the two people. It can't be outside people feeding into it. And that's what happens a lot, especially with relationships. If, a friend wants to talk to another friend and tell them, and they'd be like, oh, girl, you shouldn't. Or a guy talks to his guy friend and the guy be like, oh, I would never. And then, they're trying to make a decision off of somebody else, but they don't know exactly what's going on in that household. So, yeah. Yeah, she said, I'm talking layman's terms. Yeah, but yeah, indefinitely is indefinitely, but you have to have that discussion, with your partner. So, like I said, you never know what somebody's willing to do unless it's discussed. So if it's out there and it's talked about and it's okay, then fine. And if it's forbidden, then there has to be another discussion, another conversation. So. No, I kept trying to go back. I think you said infidelity. I was starting to say indefinitely. That's why he was like, no, that's why I kept going back and trying to look at it. But yeah, infidelity. That's just said, oh, and she's talking about cheating. Got it. I got you. That's why I brought it back. But yeah, it's all about those people in the relationship and what they communicate about, and if they talk about cheating or like that shouldn't be a discussion that you should have right away, because there should be nobody cheating, especially if y'all just starting a date. But if it's something that happens and it takes place, then that should be something that is discussed. There's people that will walk out, and then there's people that will stay. So just to each their own on that one. But y'all had some really good points today. I really appreciate y'all chiming in and giving feedback. I like it a lot. Next week we will be talking about. I'm gonna have a topic posted after this show. I'll have it posted on here what we're gonna be talking next week. And hopefully we'll have our whole panel here so they can actually put their feedback in too. So we have been talking about it for a couple of weeks. So I thought everybody was ready today. Not everybody showed up, but it's okay. We still had a good run. It's 6:43. I'm not jumping off quite yet because I do want to keep it right at an hour. But yeah, like I said, I do appreciate you guys swinging through, and the people that have been watching from YouTube and from Twitter and from Facebook. I appreciate you guys as well. Thank you so much for joining in today. We will be back every Saturday at 6 p.m. There will be some Saturdays I'll have to skip like one or two because I'll be doing other events. But y'all gonna rock with me. I'm gonna rock with y'all. I'll make sure yes, not at all. I'm definitely gonna make sure I keep you guys posted, and I'll post in my story like what the next topic is gonna be, and then people can choose to tune in, or they can wait until the next topic. Either which way, I'm definitely gonna post it about it. Our relationship handled cheating better than your relationships. Yeah. If you're talking about like old school, yeah, back in the day, like that was a thing. Not saying that it was acceptable, but definitely way back, like my grandparents and great grandparents, it was like you knew down the street was Susie Q, and Susie Q had like 3 kids from grandpa, from great grandpa, whatever, and those were your siblings, your cousins, and all. Everybody was related to somebody, but everybody was kind of doing their own thing back then, and they still doing they do their things right now. But when they're doing it now, they're doing it on a whole nother level. So, and it's not really a good thing because it ends up being a fallout or a disagreement, or somebody can't handle it and they take it too far. So yeah, things be happening. But back in the day, it was a little bit more disgusting. It was like, okay, don't do that again. I don't want to see you down there with so and so. But grandpa gonna do what grandpa gonna do, and grandma did her thing too. So cheating is not the end for all. Okay, that's true, but the reason why is important to know. Oh, okay. So for you, it's important to know why they cheated. And we have a whole topic about cheating coming up. That's going to be like three episodes in. Cheating is going to be one of the topics, but we'll definitely discuss that too during that time frame. But yeah, so like I said, that's why I was just explaining. Sometimes people were like, okay, that's cool. Not cool like they accept it, but like, okay, I'm not mad. I'm pissed, maybe furious, but we need to talk about this. And we need to make sure that that we have an understanding why, you did what you did, and that you're not going to do it again, because nobody wants to keep going through that same cycle. So, you're like, okay, I heard what you said, and I let that go, but you're not going to do this again next week and the week after and the week after. So, yeah, like a one-time thing, maybe once every couple of years, whatever. But but yeah, without that, just to do it on a regular basis. Yeah, that's. I mean, you might as well just be with somebody else. I think out of that relationship. Because at a certain point in time, it's like, okay, it's just too much. But yeah, so like I said, we have a whole nother episode. We're gonna talk about just cheating alone. So that's gonna be a good thing. Cheating and then threesomes and foursomes, all that stuff. All those sums are gonna be coming up. So everything's gonna be talked about in the very near future. Like I stated, I will be putting the next topic up for next week after the show. Oh, I cannot with you. It's not an end all, but I'm gonna get my lick back. I got you. Tit for tat. Yeah, it is. It is, but I mean, human nature. It happens. It happens. So, like, oh, that's what we're doing. Okay. No problem. It's a little bit before 7, but guess what, you guys? I want to go and edit. So I'm going to end this live. I appreciate you all for coming through, showing up, and showing love. I appreciate you. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. I will see you guys next Saturday. I'm going to post the next topic really soon. And then I have to go through and make sure I put my credits on here. So thank you guys so much. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate y'all. And thank you guys for sliding through. Have a good evening. And I'm going to play this commercial one more time, but I'm going to end it over here. Okay. Talk to y'all later.
CTR Media Network is now accepting new podcasters to join our growing network that's reaching 350 million global listeners. Have you heard? CTR Media Network offers podcast production, podcast training, distribution, and product placement. Book us for your next event or schedule an interview with CTR Media Network podcasters today. To learn more, go to ctrmedianetwork.com.
Just like that, boss, let me start out, y'all. Peace.
Hello, everyone. My name is Bell, and I am the host of the CEO Corner. As always, I have an opportunity to bring to you guys some fabulous female entrepreneurs that are doing some really great things in their homes, in their families, in their communities, in their business. So, very excited to be able to introduce to you our next guest. She is Yolanda K. Churchwell. She's a best-selling author, a speaker, and founder of the Business Alliance Group, LLC, also known as The Bag. She's used her professional skill set to create a company that helps women entrepreneurs take the hassle out of their hustle so that they can make more money and have more free time. She provides coaching and support to service-based businesses to streamline their operations for maximum profitability. So with that, welcome to the stage with me, Yolanda. Thanks as well.
Hi, Tiffany.
Hello, hello, hello. I'm so glad to have you on today. Very, very glad. And you're beautiful as always. I was thinking that earlier before we started out, you were, typing some of the info in for us. I was like, man, she is so pretty.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
Thank
So
you.
tell us a little bit about Yolanda when she is not on the clock, when you're not working in the bag, when you're not helping people to increase their revenue, right? I'd love for people to kind of get a snapshot of what life looks like for you, when you're not on the clock.
When I'm not on the clock, well, I'm still always encouraging people because I believe that's my spiritual gift. So I'm always doing something to help somebody. But when I'm not on the clock, I love to shop. I love to travel. I love to just do little day outings. Yesterday, for example, my mother and I and my best friend and her mom, we went to a little botanical garden. They were having a pop-up shop, and one of my cousins, who's a businesswoman, she was speaking, and so it was just a nice little Sunday afternoon. So I just like to get away and do stuff, just have a little fun.
All right, very good, very good. So where are you located?
So I am in Sandusky, Ohio, better known as the home of Cedar Point, right off of Lake Erie, about an hour west of Cleveland, Ohio.
Okay, all right. I spent a little bit of time in Ohio several years ago, 27 years ago exactly.
Okay, something good happened if you know exactly to the date.
Oh, yes, yes. My oldest son was born in Ohio. I was in the military for a little bit, and so we were stationed at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, and that is where my Brian was born. So I just remember a very cold winter.
Well, it's a small world because I went to Wright State University, class of 1997.
Oh,
and so same place, same area, yes.
yes. Very good, very good. And so about there around the same, very, very similar time period. Maybe about a year after I left there is when you were graduating. But I'm assuming you were there at least probably while I was when I first arrived. You were probably there.
Yeah, I was there from the fall of 93 into the spring of 97. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Yes. All right. Well, definitely a small world. So,
Yes, indeed.
So tell me just a little bit about your business. I know you said you help women to take the hassle out of the hustle. Tell me exactly what does that mean?
Okay, so what that means is when you've been in business for a little while and you know what it is that you do, you have a great product or a great service, and you're starting to grow. And as you grow, you're going to feel this tug of war. You feel a tug of war between the part of your business that you love, your talent, what it is you do, and the business of doing business, all that stuff behind the scenes that some people, it just don't agree with them. The accounting, the computers, all of that. So what I do is I come in and create a back end solution so that some of those things on the back end can take better care of themselves and don't require so much of your attention. It allows you to focus on the highest revenue generating task in your business. So you end up spending less time working, but you end up making more money because you're able to take advantage of opportunities. I like to say rivers of opportunity and streams of income as they arise because you're not busy running around putting out fires and being busy. You're being productive. You're operating like a Fortune 100 CEO.
All right. So sounds like you're good at creating systems.
Yes. So I help you to create standard operating procedures and systems. And I also help you to build a team. But whether you're a solopreneur or you have a team, once you know what it is that you do and you have processes and systems that will support you, it just will help you to work more efficiently and more effectively in what you do. And most of the time what happens, because I work with a lot of solopreneurs, is that once we get that in place, then they do need to hire a team. They do need to build a team because their business is growing. But before they just didn't have that structure, that foundation that allowed them to grow and I know because that's what happened to me in my past business. I didn't have a foundation. And so people think the worst thing is to go out of business because you don't have customers. The worst thing is to go out of business because you can't support your growth.
Oh, wow. So that sounds like you were tremendously successful in your previous business, right? Okay, very good. So now I'm just being nosy when I asked this. You said your previous business. Tell us a little bit about what it was. Like, what exactly did you do prior and then how did that connect to where you're at now?
Okay, so I had a retail clothing store. It was a store with dress clothes because I'm a preacher kid. So it was dress clothes, Sunday go to meeting. And
You
I
said you like to
specialized.
shop. I just need to make sure you guys heard that earlier. She did say she enjoyed shopping.
I figured I might as well make some money doing it. So I did plus size for women, big and tall for men. So it was stuff people couldn't normally get. And so I had plans in place in case it failed, but it just seemed to grow overnight. I had a brick and mortar store, I had an online store, I did vendor events, I did private shopping, I was a personal shopper for people. It just grew so fast. And what happened is that I started to feel frustrated and overwhelmed because it was that tug of war between what I like to do, working with the customers, and the stuff on the back end.